I'm going to share about one of my experiences that I don't forget. And it's a motivation for me not to go back what I used to do. And this particular park right here where we're at right now, I remember one night, it must have been probably 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I was making my way back behind us over here. And I was coming across the park towards me where I am at right now. And I was stumbling and I was just like, it was at the end of one of my meth runs. My only, my goal was to make it to this restroom right here. The reason why I was trying to make it to that restroom is because I wanted to do what I had to do to wake up, and that's, I had to shoot up some dope and some meth. And there used to be a lot of homeless people that used to frequent this park, so, I felt comfortable coming to this restroom. And I knew that overnight they used to leave these restrooms open. So I had no idea how I made it across that park, but I made it. I was in and out, and basically I was in and out, like blacking out, stumbling across the park. I finally made it to this restroom, and I took myself into one of the stalls. I sat down, I took out my paraphernalia, and I fixed it up, and I tried to do what I can, but that's the last thing that I remember. About 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I noticed that some of my stuff was missing, and my dope was missing, and some of the weed was missing that I had with me that night. Being caught up in addiction, I was enraged. I was like upset. I was like, who would do this to me? Who would dare take my drugs that helps me out to get through the day? And so what I was doing is I was going around asking people, hey, do you, that particular incident, I threw myself out there and I was telling people, this is what happened. I was made it across the park. I went into that restroom. I tried to do what I can. I couldn't. I woke up, stuff's missing. I want it back. I want to know who it is. Finally, I found out who it was. I got a name and I got a face. And I came from that way, walking this way. That structure wasn't there at that time. There was a little wall, probably about 2 feet high, so people can sit down. And then what I did is, there was like 3 guys sitting there, and I walked up to the guy that I got the face and the name, and it was that guy. And while I walked up to him, and I pulled out a knife, and what I did is I was high. I was just gone, and I was just really, really mad. I was enraged. I was pissed off. I grabbed the knife and I stuck it to his neck, and I told him, "You're the one that took my stuff." I was like, "You better give it to me. You better give me some money, or you better do something, or you better say something, or else I'm gonna cut you right now." And I was just mad. At first, I didn't see what was going through his eyes. When I looked at his neck, I had the knife pointing to his neck, pointing like, almost drawing blood. When I looked into his eyes, I don't know what came to me or what it was, but I looked into his eyes and I saw the fear in his eyes. That alone kind of just pulled me back a little bit, and I looked at him closely, and I was like, I realized that he was a young guy, but he looked like he was older, but I could see it in his eyes and some of his features that he was young. And I asked the kid, I was like, "Hey, how old are you?" He goes, "I'm 16 years old." And I was like, wow. I stepped back and I just left. And it's just, I guess what I'm sharing and why I'm sharing this is because anything could happen to me in that bathroom. This area right here, I know it's a nice area, but it's pretty much neutral area. As far as like the gangs, it's pretty neutral. So, every once in a while you would see enemies or your homeboys walking crisscrossing past, but something could happen to me that night, and I was fortunate. At that time I didn't realize it. I just realized it that I had a knife to a kid's neck. I won't forget that. And that's another thing I don't want to forget, the cold, man. I don't get, once your bones get cold, that's it. You got to wait for the sun to come up about 6, 7 o'clock and warm up, and I don't forget those nights. And that's just one incident I won't ever forget.